Hey guys, it's your boy Kathulu here, and today I am going to show you how you can make a semi-authentic sounding Eurobeat song like my songs in LMMS, because I tend to use this software for everything, from my Eurobeat songs to whatever. But now, before I make the Eurobeat, I'm going to play my song. This one is called Kathulu Dive Down for you. Alright, now that you have heard the song, we are going to start. Now for the BPM, which is the first important part, this thing right here, we are going to set it at 160. You can use anything from 130 if you want to make some slow old school Eurobeat, 140 if you want it to be just a little bit more modern, 150 if you're going in the slow pieces, not slow, in the medium pieces, and 160 obviously if you want it to be fast and blazing and initial D-like. I don't know what that means yet, but we have to figure that out. And if you want, you can obviously go even faster, but I recommend you stay at 160 if you want to sound authentic. Now let's start by examining the drums. First of all, we have a very simple thing, a 4 on the floor kick pattern with a second kick at the end. It sounds like this. Now this is just your basic DR909 inspired kick. It's probably an actual 909 sample, and yeah, it's pretty simple. Eurobeat is one of these genres that has a house inspired drum line, so you just put the 4 on the floor kick into it. Very simple. It's based off disco, so obviously. Snare drum, this is not an important part, but I like to add it. You can also add a clap if you're feeling extra housey. I used to add claps, but I stopped, I guess. This is what the snare sounds like. It's a pretty punchy snare. I recommend to try it down a little bit in the mix. You will see the mixing later on anyway. For the open hi-hat in between, which is definitely needed, because it gives it a little house groove. I would recommend also a TR-909 hi-hat. You can also use other hi-hats if they sound good. You may, if you have any free house drum packs downloaded, then I'm sure there are going to be great hi-hats in there. I even use TR-707 hi-hats on the Offbeat, the open hi-hats, not the closed ones. In one of my Italo disco based songs, it was Kick Me, I believe. I think I remember. And also a closed hi-hat to support the open hi-hat. There are many different patterns you can do. You could also just fill everything in between the kicks, or you could just fill everything. I did it in this way because it gives it a unique kind of groove. It sounds like this. Also to get now with the snare, and also to give it a little bit more oomph, we add a crash every 4 bars, which sort of keeps the energy going, like a little drummer going, ha! Alright, now in summary for the drums, if you don't feel like downloading any sample packs, I recommend you just go to the drum section, drums of LMMS, and not drum synth, because the drum synth sounds like these TR-909 samples. They don't sound like actual 909 samples, and there is no 707, so you need to use these actual drums. Someone, I believe it was Hele, I don't know how to pronounce the name, so I'm just going to say the producer name of them. Matt Stone, also known as a name that is spelled like this. Before I butcher it, I'm just going to write it down for you. Make it bigger actually so you can read it. This guy, he has said that this kick is good, and it is good. I don't remember, I did not use a stock kick for this. I didn't use stock drums at all actually, I don't use them. For in terms of snares, you could use number 3. That one sounds like a basic number 9 snare. And for claps, always 1. You can also add a clap in the background that gives it a little rhythm, but if you don't want to do that, then you can just leave it like this. For open hi-hats, I recommend obviously 1 and 2 and 3 if you want to use an equalizer on it. For closed hi-hats, 1. And the crashes, there's only 1 good crash. This one sounds sort of weird. Alright, now with the drum summary, our next part is going to be the bass. Alright, now for the bass. This is not a sound design tutorial for Dext. This is just me explaining what the bassline is, because I don't really get Dext either. I use 2 presets. I recently downloaded this actually. It's a cartridge made up of 2 sounds. First of all, the solid bass preset, which comes from some 90s FM synth. I don't remember its exact name, but it was something by Yamaha, obviously, and with T in the name. And lately Bass 2. They sound like this. This one was popular in the Eurodance scene, and this one, which we are using today, this sounds like this. Obviously, Dex is a great tool. What I like in Dex is this preset. Which sounds like the M1 organ, the original one from House. We are going to keep it with the lately bass, and now I'm going to switch over to show you what sort of drum bass lines we are going to be making with it. Alright, we are now back in LMMS. Now, first of all, if you want to load text in LMMS, you have to use a third-party plugin called Element by Kathulu, which I will link in the description alongside with text itself and the good pack of TR909 samples that will help you a lot. Now, if you are using FL Studio and still watching this tutorial, first of all, why aren't you watching the one by Kaisari? Second of all, the groove kicks, especially number 3, the groove kick 03. That one is perfect for Eurobeat. It sounds like the kick card I showed off earlier. Now, for all the LMMS viewers, this one, we are going to continue with the bassline. Now, first of all, turn on your MIDI scales. They are built in this thing. Set them in any key you want. I put this one in A minor, so I'm going to set it to A minor, obviously. And you have to generate an actual chord progression first. You can start with chords, but I start with the bass in this. Now we are going to put it in every offbeat, not here where the kick is. No, here where the hi-hat sits. Because if we don't, because this makes Eurobeat bouncy. Now, old school Eurobeat and disco-based Eurobeat, which is just Italo disco, makes use of the octaving bassline. And sometimes they double this. And if you're going for space synth, which is even more complex genre technically, it sounds blisteringly fast, but it's not what we are making today. Alright? Basically, we are making your simple Eurobeat, no complex space synth mishaps. It's a good genre, but yeah. Now, this bassline part can be interpreted anyway. For example, even if you feel like this is a little bit too slow, there's still improvement, but you only want them in the offbeat, there's still improvement. You can do this. This makes it sound kind of like psytrance. And if you do this, it sounds even more like psytrance. If you do this, it's just psytrance. And if you do it in 30-second notes, what the hell is wrong with you? Alright. Now, next up, we're going to discuss the 2 forms of ambiances used in Eurobeat. You can use only one, you can use only the other, you can use both, you can use neither, but why would you? Anyways, first of all, we start off with this other plugin I am going to put in the description called Super Wave P8. It's an emulation of the Roland JP800 synthesizer, 8000 synthesizer, which gave birth to the Super Saw, which is very important for Eurobeat. And I tend to use this one for pads. I like string pads, okay? And it sounds good. Listen to this string pad. Now the way you build the chords. Let's just say, not like this. What if I didn't have chords ready and just the bass notes because I just made the bass line? I would then do this. We would check inside the scale, of course. The scale is the most important part. We check we leave out 2 notes and check the one above it Is this one in scale? If it is, you continue. Check another 2 notes. Is this one in scale? Nope. Then move 3 up. Now this is a minor chord. You do the same for here. Nope. Yes. Nope. Yes. Yes. This is a major chord. You keep repeating this until I need to quickly delete this. We get this. Now, most Eurobeat actually uses a different chord progression. Let me just show this to you. 99% of Eurobeat, of all Eurobeat, commercial, of all commercial Eurobeat at least. With that, I need to go to this note. Now this is the chord progression known as the Eurobeat chord progression. So basically, if you want to sound authentic and basic at the same time, just use this chord progression. It sounds pretty familiar because not 99%, but a lot of Eurobeat songs have just this exact progression. Alright, on to the next part of the ambient section, which is the ARP. With the ARP, which I made in Vital, which I will also link in the description because I have to link everything so you can make everything, is made using a trance pack. This one, because trance has the best ARPs, that's just a fact. I have to put these zero velocity notes here so you can hear the whole echo while it's exported still. Basically, you take the chords and you just play every single note after each other every single time like this. And that sounds like this. Now I will link both Vital and the pack with this exact sound. I use it only for the ARPs actually, but you can use it for whatever you want. I'm sure one of the leads will work for Eurobeat too. Now, we need to cover the part that makes Eurobeat Eurobeat. But for that, I'm going to have to add a slight intermission because otherwise I won't be able to cut this. Now, back again after this intermission, we look at the stab, also known as the offbeat or the offbeat stab or whatever. This is what every single Eurobeat song that is actually able to call itself Eurobeat has. I use a turbo preset for this one. You know, Turbo A, the guy that does all the Eurobeat remixes of popular songs. He makes great music. He also at some point released a sound bank for Vital on 2 Discord servers, Eurobeat Prime and the Odyssey Eurobeat server. If you're on any one of these, you can find these packs, and they're pretty great actually. Now this step here, it's great. I obviously just copied the chords in it and made this. Also, back in the day, I would have done 7th chords for this, which means I would have done the process again, but in that case, I would have used it for everything. So yeah, let's just listen to the steps. This is what they sound like. Don't worry, you can hear that they are there in the mix, but they are not too heavy. Look. Yeah. Now for the next part, which is more important than everything else we've covered so far, we are checking out the riff and the brass. First of all, this is the riff design. What? Anyways, we play. For that, I copied the chords in it again. The chords are really good actually. And then I placed different notes inside of the scale to turn it into a melody. It's pretty hard to explain how melodies are made, but this is how I make them. Now for the brace, For the brass, we use three sounds. First of all, we use this heavy sounding brass here. Now, already we can hear two things. First of all, you can see these automations here. These are pitch dives. The pitch of my vital is connected, well, was connected when the vital was still loaded, to the pitch. You have to turn the pitch bend function inside of vital up actually to make this possible. It's at the same part where the polyphony functions are. I'm going to record a quick clip of how you can do this real quick. Now here we are in Vital. As you can see, I have loaded one of my brasses. I think I used it in this song. And you can see the pitch bend function here. When I turned it up to 12, that's how the pitch bends work in Vital. You can use, hold up. You can use this thing. This is not for Vital, but at some point there are going to be stuff that says Mac. You need to actually look through this matrix. There are options that say macro 1, 2, 4, macro mod wheel, not macro mod wheel, just mod wheel, and pitch wheel. You can add these to automation tracks. You can add stuff to automation tracks by holding control and dragging it in here in case you're really basic. Well, basic in the sense of you don't really know production yet. Now, I layered this with two other brasses. Basically, we want brass number 2, this one, for some better textures, as you can see, and also to cover the lower range. And we want this brass for the ambience. Now for the next part, that one is not so complicated. We are using wave generator. This one was used in a couple of ABC songs, namely DJ Energy Go Go, and I think it was A-Beat Power Jungle Light that also used this exact same Hoover sound. It comes from Rave. I play the lead. In the intro to give the song some kind of intro. And also so you immediately recognize the melody, so you know that this is this song. Yes! Now, as the final part of the riff, we are adding another wave generator on this. I'm going to link wave generator as well. That was a little bit loud. This is obviously the Demon Choir step from T99 as Anastasia. I use this to accentuate parts of the brass. Let's just play only these parts. You can also do this with an orchestra hit. one that I have conveniently loaded in this. This is the same one that they use in all the 90s Eurobeat songs that have orchestral hits. It sounds like this. Now for an orchestra you would actually have to enlarge the notes a bit. Don't worry, this does not make them conflict. At all, you can just drag this over this and it will play both. Trust me. Alright, we're going to delete the orchestral hits now because we use the Riff Stabs. To make these sections, we need to just delete everything that you wouldn't want to play in one of the Riff Stabs. Also put them one octave lower if they're in this octave, because otherwise it's going to sound really weird. Yes. You obviously have to remove more than that. This is just a demonstration. Yeah. Now for the next part, I'm going to make a cut again. Because right now we are now talking about, you guessed it, the build-up. First of all, you start because this is not the arrangement part. The only sound that's in the arrangement category is the riser, because it's a long effect that just rises. Exactly. Now for the build-up, now I'm talking in regular EDM terms again. For the intro, you put a reverse crash is also good. This one has a delay on it. The stock effect canyon delay is good for this. I have the settings like this. Now we start. There is one beaten bassline with just the crash and the kick in it. That one is only for arranging purposes. I have also one with only a kick and a snare, but we don't care about it. We don't care about that one just yet. The Hoover is getting introduced with a filter. Pad gets introduced. Now the ARP. Now the full brass section. Now that the riff is done, we get started with the first verse. If you have vocals, you put them right here. The crash is, I think, outside of the channels right now because it keeps on sounding. Orchestral hits are played here to accentuate everything again. A little bridge. More riser. At this point, you can also put a vocal sample like "Let's Go" directly before the drop slash end of the chorus. Now the brass riff. And now the song is over technically, but it's going on more. You repeat that same arrangement. And now for the finalizing part of this video, I'm going to place one last cut. Alright, this is now the final part of the video. We are still back in this. Now I'm just going to write down for you what links I'm going to put in the description. First of all, I'm going to put the ESW TR909 pack. This is one of the 2 drum packs they released, and it's pretty good. Then also the ESW Wavetables pack. Download both wavetables that they offer, both packs. They are pretty good, and they contain some of my favorite wavetables actually. Then next up I will put a link to Vital, link to Dext, link to push you element so you can load Dext, a link to OTT because you will need it. Superwave P8 also gets a link. Then Synth 1 also gets a link. This is another synthesizer I forgot to mention. It's good in the beginning, which means that the Euronam pack also gets a link, obviously. And next up, my own Eurobeat pack that I'm going to be compiling will also get put in the description. Rave Generator will get a little description segment. What else is there? Sozo's Eurobeat pack, because it's a good one. Also the Helm synthesizer, because it's similar to Vital, you might like it more. And hold up. No, that is actually everything. Oh no. Also the Trans Vitality pack by Aqua Queen, I think. Whatever, you will see it in this description. With this final segment, this is also the outro of the video, and for the outro I'm going to simply play the lost piece of the song, the one that I didn't exploit. The bass in this broken. Alright, now with that I advise you to try and follow this pretty long tutorial. Have a good night or day or whatever. I am not actually tired, this is recorded on a different day. See you.